Hey YNR fans! Waving hand, welcome to YNR Trends, your go-to spot for the juiciest Young and the Restless updates, shocking spoilers, and all the drama you can't stop talking about. From surprise returns to scandalous twists, we break it all down for you, every day. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right into Genoa City's hottest gossip. According to previews on The Young and the Restless, Phyllis Summers might cause some turmoil at the wedding. Will Phyllis discover that she can't help but ruin a significant occasion that is taking place in October? Before her marriage ceremony on August 14th, Christine Blair begged Daniel Romalotti Jr. to do her a favor. Christine is excited to marry Danny Romalotti, but she is aware that there is one person who could spoil the wedding. Naturally, we're referring to Phyllis, who views the bug as her deadliest adversary and always takes pleasure in making her life miserable. Christine is depending on Daniel to keep Phyllis as far away from the wedding as possible because of this. Christina insisted, "Phyllis is going to try to ruin the happiest day of my life, and I refuse to let her do that." Christine might just be criticizing Phyllis for her prior transgressions. Phyllis may not be interested in ruining Christine and Danny's big day because she is now rather focused on being Kane Ashby's ally. Phyllis may ultimately decide not to interfere with the ceremony because it appears that she has truly moved on from Danny. We are aware, nevertheless, that Phyllis is a habitual person and that her competition with Christine will never be forgotten. With cricket, that might not be feasible, but Phyllis called a truce with Sharon Newman. Without a doubt, Daniel will comply with Christine's request and urge Phyllis to keep her distance. Phyllis showing up at the wedding and creating a huge public scene is the last thing Daniel will want. Regretfully, Phyllis has a reputation for disregarding Daniel's counsel. Phyllis might be tempted to disregard Daniel's caution and cause trouble at the wedding if she is told to stay away. Although everything seems to indicate that Christine and Danny will be able to exchange vows, Phyllis might yet show up and stir up some controversy. If YNR includes Phyllis in the conversation to slightly irritate Christine, it could be entertaining. Phyllis's presence alone could cause a stir, even if she allows the wedding to proceed as scheduled and only makes a clumsy speech. In conclusion, Phyllis might give in to her worst tendencies and cause some wedding crasher chaos, so keep checking back for any shocking information that Christina and Danny might learn. According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, Phyllis might have some surprises in store if Christine's suspicions are validated. Before the ceremony even started, the murmurs had already begun. A new life with the guy who promised her security, commitment, and the kind of love she had always convinced herself she deserved was what Christine's wedding day was meant to be, the picture-perfect moment she had been waiting years to finally claim. As they sipped champagne, admired the flowers hanging along the archway, and exchanged knowing looks about how at last Christine appeared to have found peace, guests filled the exquisite room with friendly conversation. However, beneath that serene exterior, there was a darker undertone, an unsaid tension that seemed to rise in the atmosphere like static. Because Phyllis was a name that always hung over Christine like a curse whenever she experienced a significant life event. Everyone was aware that Phyllis Summers was not invited. When it came to Christine, she wasn't welcome at this type of event. Their past was rough, ragged, and intimate. It wasn't just about small-time antagonism. The sort of past that tarnishes friendships, reputations, and perhaps love itself. In the background, Phyllis was restless, but Christine had been building her happiness brick by brick, trying to escape the chaos of the past. For days, she had been resisting the impulse, telling herself that she didn't give a damn and that Christine's decisions no longer affected her. In reality, though, it wasn't the case. Every time she imagined Christine standing at an altar, grinning and soaking up praise, she felt something burning inside of her, a vision that Phyllis had so many times before helped break. Phyllis first vowed not to go. She assured herself that she was superior to it, that she had nothing to prove, and that Christine would only be pleased to call her a resentful person who was unable to let go. Late at night, she poured herself a glass of wine while pacing her living room and practicing the lines of indifference she would use if someone dared to bring it up later. However, the more she made an effort to avoid it, the more insistent the urge became. It was about the whole audience that would be watching, not just Christine. All of Genoa City's best people, including her former loves, enemies, and detractors, congregated in one exquisitely furnished chamber and pretended that Christine was a saint. Phyllis was irritated by the hypocrisy till she lost patience. Even though she wouldn't publicly acknowledge it, Phyllis had already made up her mind by the morning of the wedding. She changed into a crimson dress that embraced her like armor and exuded strength, defiance, and unrepentant trouble. She smirked at herself when she saw herself in the mirror, not with happiness but with the pleasure that she could still rock this town to its foundation with just one entrance. As she reached for her makeup, pocketbook, keys, and the last bit of self-control she had been holding on to, her heels clicked against the floor. Although she was aware that what she was about to do was irresponsible, she had never been known for her restraint. When the whispers became gasps, the ceremony was halfway completed. As the massive doors opened, heads looked toward the back, and there she was, Phyllis, the unexpected tempest in a sea of peace. As if time itself had stopped, Christine's smile went cold. The groom's jaw tensed, and whispers spread like wildfire among the pews. Phyllis remained unflinching. She didn't say sorry. She was clearly not there to clap nicely and sip champagne, as seen by the smirk that curved her lips as she stood erect. She was there to remind everyone that, at least while she was present, nothing in Genoa City remained quiet for very long. Christine begged the officiant to stop, her voice quivering with barely controlled rage. The wedding party looked at each other anxiously, not knowing if they should step in or let the drama play out. Phyllis took a steady, purposeful step forward, her heels rapping the ground like war drum beats. Though her heart pounded inside her chest, every step exuded confidence. She could sense the room's power feeding off of her and pushing her to either burst or back down. And it was never Phyllis Summers' style to back down. Her voice cut through the dense silence as she cleared her throat. "All right, Christine. You look radiant, don't you? But you know me, I would never be able to forgive myself if I allowed this little fairy tale to go unchecked without a reality check." Christine's face flushed with rage, and her fists clenched at her sides as gasps followed. Though Phyllis wasn't paying attention to him, the groom muttered something under his breath. He wasn't really the focus of this. This concerned Christine, and the two of them engaged in a never-ending struggle for dominance and pride. Torn between preserving Christine's day and taking in the drama they secretly desired, a few visitors stood. With eager eyes, others whispered, waiting to see what Phyllis would reveal. Everyone knew that Phyllis wouldn't be without anything if she showed up. She was always full of half-truths, truth, or enough poisonous words to shatter glass. And she had all three with her tonight. The hush was finally broken by Christine's acerbic and sour voice. "Phyllis, you don't belong here." Phyllis simply cocked her head, her red hair dripping over her face like flaming flames, and said, "Go before you embarrass yourself any more than you already have." She responded, "Oh honey, I'm not the one being humiliated here," with a smile that concealed blades behind it. "Before you go down that aisle acting as like you've earned this happily ever after, I just want to make sure that everyone remembers who you truly are." The strain became intolerable. When Christine's groom attempted to advance, Phyllis held up a hand, ruling the room like a queen in her realm. "This isn't about him," she stated firmly. "Christine, this is about you and me. It was and always has been. You believe that by portraying yourself as the innocent victim, this day would wash away the lies, betrayals, and ways you have stabbed people in the back. Not today, though. Not as long as I can still speak." With her eyes darting to the throng as though pleading with them not to believe a word Phyllis said, Christine's calm broke and her cheeks burned with rage. However, Phyllis simply needed them to have doubts about Christine, not to trust her. And there was a lot of skepticism in the air at the time. Few series better represent the turmoil, drama, and unexpected turns that characterize reality television than the Real Housewives franchise. Phyllis, a recurrent character noted for her audacious nature and propensity to cause controversy, is accused of interrupting Christine's wedding and causing mayhem. This incident is among the most talked about occurrences in previous seasons. This incident calls into question whether such dramatic moments are real or staged for entertainment, as well as the nature of reality TV theatrics and personal boundaries. We can gain a better understanding of why this particular event attracted attention and what it reveals about the hazy boundaries between performance and authenticity by looking at the background of Phyllis and Christine's relationship, the reasons behind wedding crashing, and the wider implications for reality TV storytelling. In reality TV, where interpersonal problems drive story arcs, Phyllis and Christine's relationship has been tense. Viewers eagerly await any public altercation between them since their past implies a mixture of rivalry, jealousy, and unsolved grievances. In contrast to Phyllis's raw and somewhat erratic personality, Christine is frequently shown as poised and calculating. A wedding, which is a very emotional and carefully planned affair, is the ideal setting for drama, and this clash of personalities makes for explosive interactions. The notion that Phyllis would interrupt Christine's wedding plays into a well-known reality TV cliché, the unexpected visitor who interrupts the event and forces an awkward situation. In reality TV, weddings are rarely merely festivities. Instead, they are carefully planned spectacles intended to elicit strong feelings. The stakes are raised when an opponent like Phyllis interferes with such an occasion. Because it defies social conventions, weddings are private, sacred events where uninvited guests, especially those with malicious intent, are viewed as taboo. The wedding crasher myth is powerful. By crossing this line, Phyllis not only spoils Christine's moment but also calls into question the decorum of the audience. The audience is caught between astonishment and fascination because of this transgression, which makes the scene so compelling. Whether it's a physical conflict, verbal spat, or emotional collapse, the ensuing upheaval contributes to the voyeuristic pleasure that reality TV promises. In these situations, authenticity is a major concern. Is this a staged or producer-driven moment intended to increase viewers, or is Phyllis really incapable of resisting ruining Christine's event? Real emotions are frequently exaggerated or altered for entertainment purposes in the murky area where reality TV thrives. Participants might exaggerate qualities that make them interesting individuals in order to fit their on-screen personas. Leaning into the role of the agitator may seem beneficial to Phyllis, who is recognized for her dramatic flair, particularly if it guarantees her continued relevance on the show. In a similar vein, Christine might act in ways that intensify the drama rather than lessen it because she is aware of the cameras. As a result, the wedding crasher turmoil turns into a performance inside a performance, with both characters flawlessly playing their parts, causing viewers to question what was manufactured and what was real. This incident highlights larger elements in reality TV, namely the use of emotional fragility for entertainment, in addition to the personal rivalry. Crashing a wedding is a surefire way to provoke powerful emotions because weddings are inherently emotional. The producer's choice to include, or perhaps even plan, this scene shows that they understand what audiences want: intense drama that feels real and intimate. Nonetheless, this presents moral dilemmas regarding the toll that such incidents have on the individuals involved. The emotional fallout from public humiliation or unresolved dispute can continue for a long time, even when reality stars sign up for exposure. The distinction between amusement and real-life consequences may become hazy as Phyllis's acts, whether premeditated or spontaneous, have practical implications for her relationship with Christine and their social circle. It's also important to look at how the audience reacts at these occasions. Based on their opinions of the individuals, reality TV viewers frequently take sides in contentious arguments about who was right or wrong. These responses are magnified by social media, which transforms isolated instances into widely shared talking points. If the wedding crasher incident is sufficiently spectacular, it may take center stage in memes and online debates, and it may even shape future plots. Shock value is given precedence over substance in this feedback loop, which occurs when viewers respond to created drama and producers modify material based on those responses. This keeps viewers interested, but it also runs the risk of simplifying and exaggerating complicated interpersonal interactions. It's crucial to take into account how editing shapes the story while examining Phyllis's purported wedding crash. The mayhem that resulted from Phyllis interrupting Christine's wedding ultimately captures the spirit of contemporary reality sacrifices, which combines real emotion, favor of theatrical stunts, and producer-driven narrative. Hours of boring footage may have preceded what viewers see as a sudden, orchestrated or unplanned, or important facts may have been left out to add drama, igniting discussion, and solidifying the stereotypes that characterize these programs. While Phyllis's actions might seem more evil or illogical even in a controlled setting, is what makes it so alluring. The distinction between fact and fiction is further blurred as a result of this perspective modification, while observers perceive it as a guilty understand the incident. It's business as usual for the producers, who continue to create captivating stories despite the consequences in real life. Beyond just being entertaining, these events have deeper meanings that reflect society's preoccupation with conflict and the degradation of privacy in the pursuit of celebrity. Exposing unvarnished human behavior is what makes reality TV so successful, but at what price? Figures like Phyllis and Christine will continue to be entangled in ever-increasing drama as long as viewers reward chaos with their attention. One instance of how reality TV blurs the boundaries between performance and reality, allowing viewers to question where the act starts and the truth stops, is the Wedding Crasher event. In summary, the spectacle of Phyllis interfering with Christine's wedding is a microcosm of the allure and paradoxes of reality TV. It draws attention to the contradiction between artifice and authenticity, the misuse of private moments for public viewing, and the perennial interest in interpersonal strife. Whether this scene was real or staged, its power resides in its capacity to spark debate, evoke powerful feelings, and uphold genre norms. Events like these will continue to be a mainstay of reality TV for years to come as the techniques for producing drama continue to change. Hey YNR fans! Waving hand welcome to YNR Trends, your go-to spot for the juiciest young and the restless updates, shocking spoilers, and all the drama you can't stop talking about. From surprise returns to scandalous twists, we break it all down for you, every day. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right into Genoa City's hottest gossip. According to spoilers for the upcoming 2 weeks of The Young and the Restless, August 18th to 29th, Victor Newman will toss a curveball while Audra Charles, the nightmare, is let loose. Let's discuss the terrible news that will be revealed soon, as Phyllis Summers will also make a cunning play for Kane Ashby. Kane will try once more in vain to win Lily Winters back over the week of August 18th to 22nd. When Kane calls the children, he will be alone because Lily will not assist him resolve the conflict. She might speak well of Nick Newman once he asks Phyllis for assistance in forming his Kane alliance. But Phyllis might also believe that Kane should be on the lookout for the Newmans or anyone else he might associate with in Genoa City. She'll find a way to make up for her botched honeymoon with Jack Abbott with Diane Jenkins Abbott. Jack hopes his insider job doesn't go horribly wrong and will also provide Diane with some Billy updates. Holden Novak will also have to deal with his developing feelings for Claire Newman, who will proceed to provide Nate Hastings with some important details regarding Audra. Audra will attempt to portray Kyle Abbott as the one who wooed her, but that is untrue. After Claire exposes Audra for romantic sabotage on Victor's orders, Nate will finally pressure Audra for the truth. Claire should also let Nate know that Audra kissed Kyle at society, but Audra will do everything in her kin to keep Nate around. In other news, now that he's growing more attracted to Tessa Porter, Daniel Romalotti Jr. will begin to see her with new eyes. More hit pieces in Billy backlash may be the cause of Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman being pressed for answers by Billy Abbott, according to other YNR teasers. Jack then offers Kyle some advice, but Victor will make a decision that surprises everyone. Victor's action will throw a curveball, whether it has to do with his rivalry with the Abbotts, his possible collaboration with Kane, or something more intimate. Kane will have a task across town that Phyllis needs to start working on. Phyllis may demonstrate her complete dedication to this Kane scam, as Kane has already hinted at the prospect of her hacking the main business players and doing some shopping. There will be more